Sure. And I want to address the helmet also, because I know this is the official unveiling of it. If you've been around our football offices at all, you've seen many mock-ups and many different looks that we've gone with. Jammie is actually the one who coordinated all that. So if you got questions about the helmet, the design, painstaking, I think he had about 150 prototypes at one point in time. But we're very excited how that looks and really represents kind of our brand moving forward. I want to just give a general statement here about what we're doing and what this is going to look like, and then would really like to answer any questions that you have about the process. As was mentioned earlier, next Tuesday we'll have 110 plus student athletes on this campus playing football for the first time. And with that being said, I cannot be more appreciative of the leadership and the guidance that Dr. Benz has provided during this process to get us to this point, and the support that Dave and our athletic staff have really given us. Without them, we wouldn't even have a chance to be successful in what's going to take place this fall. I think we have a tremendous fall planned for them, and I think it's a very ambitious schedule as to what we're going to try to accomplish. Because without playing outside competition and without going against anyone else, we are tasked with getting this team ready to compete in the Gulf South Conference. And that's really our number one vision for 2015, is to get these players to be Gulf South Conference starters. We are not satisfied with just being a starter at the University of West Florida. That's not what we're trying to do, because day one, someone's going to be a starter at the University of West Florida who has not competed, who has not earned that. In our opinion, that's not good enough to play and compete in the Gulf South Conference. With 4 of the teams from our conference last year making it to the playoffs, and the games that they played in against the other 4 teams in the conference that were extremely competitive, we know we have our work cut out for us. So we have a very detailed, very organized, very ambitious fall schedule of what we're going to try to accomplish. A lot of practices, a lot of meeting time, a lot of opportunity for our team to improve. And then we feel we need to set a standard of excellence with this program. One of the exciting things that you get to do when you start a program from scratch is you really lay the foundation for everything that's going to take place. So how do we practice? How do we stretch? What does a stretch line look like? What does an individual period look like? How does a young man show up to a meeting? How is he prepared for every aspect of what we're doing? We are educating, and we are giving them an opportunity to understand what it means to be a part of the Argonaut athletic program. And so we've got a lot of things that we've got to cover. Again, you look at a helmet right here that Jammie helped design. To get to that point took many, many steps. When you come out and watch us practice for the first time, just remember that it is our first time, literally. Okay? Just remember that when you're seeing that. Our first scrimmage on September 12th, that will probably be about the 4th time that we go live. Just remember that when you're watching it. But we are excited about the group that we have, and we are very excited about this opportunity to be able to bring football to the University of West Florida and the Pensacola area. And to just echo what Dr. Ben said about Monday night, what a tremendous showing of excitement and enthusiasm for what this university is embarking on. That was a great way for us, just encouraging for us as a coaching staff to see that support, see that community involvement, and again, a great evening for everyone.
Thanks, Coach Shinnick. So we will go ahead and open it up for questions from our media here today.
Coach, how many days will you be doing conditioning drills until you put on the pads and start hitting?
Well, we will put on helmets day one. So we prep them over the summer to say show up in shape. We're going to treat it just like we would if the team was coming back and we were going to play games. The only difference is we've extended the period that we're going to only be in helmets. We have to have a 5-day acclimation period, which is 2 days of helmets, 2 days of shoulder pads before you can get into full pads. We've extended that. We're going to go 3 days in helmets, 3 days in half pads. But we're going to come out day one and we are going to start playing football because we have got to get this group ready for 2016.
Pete, what did you all take from your previous experience doing this at Pembroke? Or is there some things that stood out when you look back that maybe you will do differently here? Or when you went through this process before, now that you have that to draw from, how important is that?
Well, it's been huge because you can anticipate a lot of the issues that are going to arise. And so I think we've been ahead of the curve on most of those issues. And you have an understanding of what it's going to look like. I think the number one thing we took that the coaches that were at the beginning of the process at UNCP is just patience in the process. We've got to understand that the first time we say something is the first time that they've heard it. And the first time that we run a drill, we don't have 10 guys of the 15 at that position who've already done it and went through spring ball and know exactly what we're looking for. First guy goes out, we've got a group of 10. The first guy goes out and does it wrong. I got 14 guys looking at that. He's either going to do it wrong again or we've got to correct that. We've got to start over. When you have returners at every position, watch that guy, listen to what I say, but now he's got a verbal instruction as well as a visual instruction. A lot of teaching, a lot of coaching that's going to go on. Be patient in that process.
Pete, it's maybe that's obviously a challenge, but when you have players who sign on for this, they, at least to some degree, they know what they're signing on for. Does that almost make it easier that everybody kind of starts with a clean slate rather than somebody who comes in with expectations in a program that they already have a vision of?
Well, as a head coach, I've been fortunate. I took over a program that was already established, and then I've started 2 programs. So in my experience, there are pluses and minuses in both approaches. The thing I love about this is we are on a clean slate, and everyone is going to listen and hear to what we have, and we have an opportunity to establish that immediately. So there are no prior expectations, like you say, and we aren't overcoming 2 years or 3 years of someone else's coaching that is completely different of what we're trying to do.
Jammie, can you just talk about the helmet itself? You obviously put a lot of time and effort into preparing what you wanted in it. What can you just say with, how you tried to incorporate the design and the things you wanted to see in the helmet?
We want to keep a traditional look with the royal blue, being our colors, and then accent it, obviously, with the Argo and have the Kelly green with it. We didn't want to do anything, that just kind of just was off the beaten path that wouldn't be associated with alumnus. Those coming to see our first football game, our first practice, wanting them to see our colors, our tradition, immediately pop out and stand out. One of the things that may not, stand out on the helmet initially, but in the sunlight, there's specks of silver in there, that irradiate the beach look as well. So there's a whole different vibe in there. So it was an arduous, exciting project.
He can give about a 40-minute explanation of all. So if you want detail, he'll give it to you.
I've learned more about helmets this past 6 months and to a year than I've ever thought I would learn. Break them down. I can essentially ready to be an equipment manager to some degree. Not saying I need that job, but
yeah.
You ever done anything like that before?
No. I always had an opinion about it, but I've never had to.
That's why I got the job.
Coach, you're playing downtown the first year. Obviously, that was built for baseball. Have you been walked through how those facilities are going to be changed to suit football? Are you satisfied that things are going to work out?
Oh yeah, we're very excited about what it's going to look like and also just the cooperation that we've gotten from an athletic department staff-wise with their staff, and how that's going to be set up. And so, you know, we were down there last year when the Soul Bowl was played to see the field set up. Jammie spent time at the games also, just kind of seeing some different angles of where things are going to be. I know Dave and Tony have done a great job of you know, working with where the stands will be and what that'll look like in the outfield. I think one of the hard things for people to do is visualize, you know, what that's going to look like. You know, so we're obviously talking about third base side is the, you know, the home field side, and out there in the outfield is where we're going to put up the extra bleachers. I know we have a couple of pictures out there that probably until it's actually in place, no one will get the full feel for what that's like. But it's been great as far as locker rooms, entrance, all those, you know, details. We really spent a lot of time on, and very excited to get our team down there this fall. That was one of the things we were hoping to be able to accomplish and hoping to be able to do. And so that scrimmage on October 17th, going to be a great trial run for us.
And that Soul Bowl setup, that's going to be pretty much the same way?
Correct. Yeah.
Coach, you have over 100 players now on the roster. Each university has different guidelines and policies on disciplinary issues. What standards do you set for these players with social media, all the attention off the field? We're a year away almost from the process of starting that first game in 2016. What guidelines have you implemented to your team to get them ready for the season?
Sure, and we have a list of expectations, as I call them, and then guidelines also. And really, you know, part of what we call our core values and what we call the 3 sets of 3 is, you know, put the team first in all of your actions. And so before you send a text, does it represent the team? Does it represent the university? Does it represent what we're doing? And so part of fall camp, which is shortened for us this year because typically you'll show up, you know, about 10, 15 days before school starts. We're doing it shorter because we're not getting ready for a game or anything. That's part of educating our guys on what our expectations are. Now, I've got a great coaching staff, and they've done a phenomenal job even before guys have gotten here viewing social media, because that is a huge part of what they're visible and what they're tied to. We're very excited that a lot of our guys, as soon as they committed to us, it was UWF commit. It was, you know, UWF, you know, 19 grad, all of that being put out there. We're fired up about that. But then also comes a responsibility with that. Hey, check your page. We don't like what this says. That doesn't fit in line with what we're trying to do. You know, one of the things that we know is that when you bring 110 plus new people to any campus, we're going to educate them and we're going to give them our rules and our guidelines, but we don't control everything that they do. And the thing, you know, I've told our administration is, you know, I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to happen. We pray that it never happens, but we will hold them accountable for when it does happen.
Looking back on you know, not just the numbers, but the players you got, and I realize it's a long way to go to figure out what you have, but how did that match your expectations and hopes of what you might be able to recruit in this first class?
It really exceeded my expectations in how well our coaching staff was able to get commitments from people early. And we were over 100 by mid-March, which was really beyond what I had hoped. And, you know, and what I can compare that to is UNC Pembroke, where you know, a guy called me at UNC Pembroke in July and told me that he was admitted, and he instantly went on my depth chart, okay, which is completely different here to where, hey, we're fired up that you're admitted to the university. It's a great place to go to school, and you're going to really enjoy it. We'll have a tryout to see if we can add you to the team. And so I feel very good about the screening process, academically, athletically, and socially, that we were able to go through on the 110 plus that we have right now.
Pete, is there a shot of some student showing up and walking on and saying, hey, let me try this, let me go kick a few, catch a few?
Most definitely. We'll have a tryout the second week of school. I've been a head coach for 17 years, and every on-campus tryout that I've ever held, we've added at least one person. And I mean, what I tell the group before is, some guys we add are guys that struggle to ever play. And then one guy we add just graduated from UNC Pembroke. I think he leaves as the second leading tackler in the history of the school. So, we're always looking to make our team better.
When it comes to practice, recruiting, what's different, other than obviously you're not playing games, what's different this fall, or maybe an advantage for you guys this fall compared to teams that have games and, just it's such a unique situation. I wonder what the differences are.
Well, one of the main differences, the way we've set up fall, and we'll kind of we'll release, when we're practicing, when we're lifting, that type of thing. We've got the whole fall mapped out. One of the things that we learned at Pembroke, and then we've learned in talking to other people, is this year is a great year of growth for your offense and defensive line. And so when you're practicing 5 days a week in season and playing a game on Saturday, those guys are constantly going, constantly banging on each other. When you play O-line and D-line, if you're good at it, which we want all of our guys, you're going to hit somebody every play. Okay? Some of our linemen don't hit people every play, and that becomes a problem. But, they're going to have physical contact. With that being said, this fall, there are weeks that are set up more like spring ball. Practice one day, lift and meet the next day. Practice one day, lift and meet the next day. All of that is really set up for the O-line and D-line, for them to develop and them to grow and them to be in a position that we feel come spring and fall of next year, they've developed the way we need them to.
Talk a little bit about scheduling the games. I mean, it's obviously a big football area, and people have their beloved D1 team. You don't want to find yourself conflicting with any of that. Is that going to come into play when you think about when you play these games?
The time?
Yeah.
Yes. And we've talked about that. I don't think we've set a time. But, yeah, I think, we want to be able to do our kickoffs where, if that game's on at some point in time, again, with the TV schedule the way it is, everybody's playing at different times now, but we're looking at that, and that's a constant discussion. It's one of the reasons this spring or this fall that everything we're doing is at 11 o'clock. So every scrimmage that we have on campus is going to be on a Saturday at 11 o'clock. So hopefully we can still get people to come out. If there's a game a couple hours away, they can still make that. If it's a night game, if that game's on TV, they can still get out and see what we're doing.
For Coach Deese, the offense, when you look at it, everybody's styles have changed a lot dramatically over the last 10 years in football. What type of style should we expect from this Argonauts off their offense?
We're going to be a tempo offense. We're going to have the ability to play fast. What we talk about offensively is going to be speed, space, and simplicity. We want to go at a high speed to tire up the defense, just to stretch them, make them play sideline to sideline, get the ball out the quarterback's hands as quick as possible so he's not taking a beating. But our scheme is that we're going to play fast. We can change the speed. We can huddle up if we want to. But, our advantage is our guys, when we take the football field, we're going to be in shape.
Cory, I was curious. I'm sure now that you've been here since December officially, you've got to see the local talent pool. I know there's a lot of NFL guys that have come through here and a lot of Division I players and that sort of thing. I wonder what your thoughts were on sort of the recruiting base you guys have here, not just Pensacola, but maybe the 2-hour radius.
Oh, yeah, it's very exciting being down here. I came from the Midwest, and obviously, there's a lot of great talent up there, and we used to always come down here, and I always recruited over in South Florida, but to be here and be able to understand the talent in Alabama, right here, local Pensacola, go over to Tallahassee and stretching further to Florida, there's just a lot of great ball players, which makes it very competitive just when you're looking at recruiting and just get into the recruiting meetings and talking about your kids from your area and each coach and their sections of just a lot tougher who you want a scholarship and who you want to offer scholarships to or put high on the board and how you rank them. So it's been overwhelming, actually. At first it was very overwhelming just seeing all the talent that we had and everybody brought to us on the board. So I'm loving it. Got to be able to get good football players.
Cory, what's the adjustment for defensive players coming into a brand new program? They don't have anybody ahead of them that's played the positions before at this level. What is that going to be like from the defensive side?
I think just overall, just the adjustment. I know defensively, but just as you get to college, everything we do is going to be different as what they did in high school, just from terminology standpoint, the verbiage, just everything we use. Then not getting in here and, maybe having the older kids to show that have been in our off season, that have been through the off-season workouts, or that have been through the installation already. So, one thing Coach talks about is just being patient. So just making sure we're patient as we cultivate and grow, the defense and just overall with these players right now. We just got to make sure we're patient defensively and understanding with the players. But I think the challenges it's just going to be new. Now, they're all good football players. That's why we recruited them here, and that's why we wanted them here defensively. But this is going to be a new experience and a new setting for them of being their first time away from home, on campus, in Pensacola. They come from so many different areas. It's just going to be a very overwhelming experience overall, and we have to do a good job defensively making sure we educate them and help them through the process.
What type of defense do you plan to run?
We're 3-4, so we're 3 down linemen, 3-4. Now we'll be multiple. What we do coverage-wise, we've been a lot of 1 high, which is cover 3 or cover 1, but we still have to keep offenses off balance and have counter coverages in what we do. But like Coach Deese, we say for defense, simple, fast, chaos. So we want to be simple. All right. Don't want to overthink things. All right. Like I keep saying with the recruiting, how we recruit kids in here, there's a reason why they're here. So we want to make sure we're simple so we can allow those kids to play fast. Then the chaos part comes, we are multiple, but it still matches up with all our base things of what we do defensively. But just for an offense, it will look like chaos because in 3 down, you can move the front to the field, the boundary, over, under. You can switch things of what you're doing with how we'll prowl, stem, and move around. So say simple, fast chaos. Now it's organized chaos for us, though. We know what we're doing defensively. But offensively, we like to say chaos for them, how we come at them and attack them.
A lot of blitzes and stunts.
We'll pressure you. Yeah, I do. I like to I sort of say I don't like to sit like statues defensively. We like to move around and we like to bring it, and I like to force quarterbacks to think post-snap. So when the ball, you want to shorten that time of their thinking process post-snap once that ball is in their hands, and now we'll bring it from all over, as well as offensive line too. You want to do different things to keep the offensive line off balance, where we try to create big plays with what we do, with how multiple we are, like they like to do with their tempo. So we sort of try to counter what the offense does.
And he's threatened to blitz day 1, so.
There's a good chance.
You guys know that Quinn Studer has tried to develop that downtown area a lot, and you have this partnership now with the Wahoos. What do you think UWF football will bring to that downtown area and its vibrancy?
Well, we hope that it brings what baseball brought to the summer. And anytime that I'm down there having lunch or interacting with people, everyone is just excited about what those Saturdays in the fall are going to be like. And that's whether that's a restaurant owner, whether that's a business owner, or whether that's a fan. The opportunity to grab a meal downtown and walk over and see a football game. The opportunity to tailgate in front of someone's business or in the tailgate area. Those are the type of responses that I've gotten. And we see this as, a tremendous opportunity for our university to just connect in a different level with the Pensacola community as well as downtown. I think the event, again, Monday night, was a great showing of just a little bit of what that can look like. Now, times 10, game day, it's going to be great for everyone involved. When you start a program, it's not just the athletic department that's doing it. It's not just the university that's doing it. It's the community. It's everyone involved in building this and supporting it. And we're excited about, on all levels, the support and the excitement that we've gotten from all those people.
Seems like the number of people that are going to likely want to go to the game vastly exceeds the number of seats that are available.
That is a fantastic problem to have.
What are you doing to accommodate that disparity?
Well, that's why Brett Berg, where's Brett? He's in this room someplace. And he's always got a notebook with him with a season ticket outline and how to do that. Speaking for, all the administrators and everybody who answers that question, that's a great problem to have. I think, we have a product that people are excited about. We do have, a stadium that can hold somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 people. We'd love to see that be a problem for us. And then let's deal with that as we go along. But I'm very excited about what opening day looks like.
And some more information on that, there will be a priority point system for donors to the Argonaut Athletic Club that will award donors at certain levels, and they will have the first opportunities for season tickets.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of that point system was geared toward rewarding them through the process and then toward the actual stadium. I just worry, my question, I guess, is I'm concerned about all the people that want to be in and then they can't get tickets.
Well,
I will be on the field when that's happening, so I'm sure they can tell me about what it looks like, but I'm sure we'll find a way to get them in. Get your tickets early, I guess, so.